cars and shit, trucks and stuff like that.
So you put a fake license plate on it?
No, we didn't have any license plate on it because there was a trail from my house in the mountains that led up to the state park, and we would go out that way and up into the state park, and we'd go out that way, and then we had gates and shit like that we could lock them out. So, like, they would never figure out who it was because, like I said, we were always using these fucking beater cars and shit like that.
So you wasn't using your cars, you was using...
Yeah, we were using shit that, like, people had wrecked or had something wrong with it that we had fixed up.
Oh, okay. That's smart of you.
But now, I mean, there were certain times where, like, I would be out hunting in my personal vehicle, and, like, that's what I would do. I would take off the license plate, but at that time, I was actually using an old beater truck. I think it was, like, a S10 with a lift kit or something like that, or, like, an old... It was either that or one of my old step-side Fords or Chevys.
What's a step-side Chevy or Ford?
Oh, yeah, you have a space where you can step onto the bed of the truck, sort of like mine has right now, how it has that step built into it.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what they call a step-side bed.
Okay.
But the older ones were actually, like, indented, like, where around the wheelbase you would see where it was, like, built in for a step.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But, no, that's what we used to use. Or, you know, four-wheelers and shit like that. But, nah, there was... They tried. They didn't catch me, luckily.
I mean, I kind of figured they wasn't going to catch you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because, you know, we got to remember they don't really carry all the shit that we do, and all the people that I knew and all the cabins and shit that my family members and their friends had and their friends' friends had that I could easily go dip into.
Well, I was about to say, not only that, you know the woods, so you could, like, you know, like the power. You'd have drove this so many times where, you know what, like all the, like different power holes, branches, rivers, stuff like that. Compared to them, they just trying to chase you and they, boom, oh man, I flapped my tire.
Yeah. Oh, I mean that, dude. I pretty much grew up rock crawling, so like there are certain passes and stuff like that in the mountains that are like only meant for really four-wheelers, but we could, you know, I was raised out there, so I could drive my truck through it. Even like a stock truck, I can drive it through it because I know how to balance the truck out.
Oh, that's
to do it.
That's pretty cool.
And like their vehicles are not meant to do it. Because, see, I'm not an idiot. Like, whenever you're traveling, like, even if it's dirt and it's a pass, and, you know, it's not really meant for driving, like, you drive where you don't see the tracks. You know? So instead of driving where everybody else is driven, where there's huge ruts, you drive in the middle and then off the side of the mountain. So, like, my truck would be sitting at, like, a 45-degree angle, cutting through the pass. So that way, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, like I said, you know, most of my vehicles, I never really put lift kits on them, except for some of our mudding trucks. But, you know, just little shit like that. But I mean, dude, I've been fined for fishing illegally. I've been fined for hunting illegally. Most of the time, they really couldn't do much because, like I said, dude, I would always ditch my weapons and fucking floor it, and then go back and get them later.
So how did you get fined? How did you get fined?
Because technically, they seen me, but they couldn't find the weapon, so they would just like fine me for some stupid shit. And, you know, as long as they can't find the weapon, they really can't do a whole lot.
So your fine be like $50 and then...
Yeah, does stupid little shit like that. Like, dude, I've thrown so many fishing rods into the rivers and had to go back and get those bitches out after they left. They'd be like, I know I just seen you with a pole. Where is it? I didn't have a pole. They were like, dude, we just seen you casting it. I didn't see shit. Oh, yeah.
So what, you had to go down the river swimming looking for a damn pole?
I mean, sometimes I would, yeah. Other times I just leave them.
Well, if it's a expensive one, you're like, fuck, I gotta go find it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I got some fly fishing rods and shit out in New York and, like, stuff like that where I go fly fishing at some of my family's cabins and...
What is fly fishing?
I'm
you like trying to catch flies?
No, you make up your own little things normally, or you can buy them now. But, like, basically it's like a hook that has a bunch of feathers or little decorations on it that look like a fly, and you use it to mostly trout fish. But, like, so basically instead of, you know, releasing the button on a normal spin cast fishing rod where you, like, click the button or flip over the little piece and then you cast it.
Yeah.
So, like, in fly fishing, you basically pull a little bit of line out, you throw forward, pull a little bit of line out, keep throwing it out until it gets to where you want it. So, like, I mean, it's a reel, but it's not that type of reel. Like, you got to pull out the line.
So how would you
just keep doing it?
So how would you bring it back, like the line back?
Oh, you can reel it. It's just it doesn't have the little flip or the push button to cast. Because in fly fishing, you're not really using weights. I mean, you do on certain ones, but not really. And the weights really aren't that heavy of weights. They're just mostly meant to keep it in place on top of the water. Normally, whenever you're fly fishing for, like I said, trout. And they usually go after certain types of flies at different times of the year. Don't ask me which types of flies at certain times of the year. It's been so long since I've been fly fishing. But, like, you know, depending on what fly season or what's hatching, bug-wise, is what you'll use as bait. So you'll, like I said, you'll have these teeny little hooks, and then you'll basically skim it across the water, and the trout and stuff will jump out of the water thinking that it's an actual bug that's hatching or a bug that's landed to get a drink.
Yeah.
You catch them that way instead of being under the water like normal.
Oh, okay.
And they're really expensive. Like, I have a fly fishing rod that's, I want to say, like $6,000.
Why are they so expensive?
Because most of them are custom made.
So which one better, the brass type, pro shop type things, or?
It depends on what you're going for.
Oh.
I mean, like, fly fishing is mostly used in small streams or stuff like that. That's usually what I used it for, was like small mountain stream fishing or like really shallow water fishing, I guess I should say. But then, you know, I would, most of the places, I prefer spin cast. I can fly fish, but it's not really my cup of tea, mostly because I don't usually have the patience.
Do you ever catch stuff or not?
Yeah. I usually catch a lot of stuff, but I mean, I also knew where all the stock trucks and stuff like that went to put out fish.
Because you work there.
Well, yeah, that, and I mean, they release route information online. You can find it all usually on your state website. Like, even whenever I go out, like, salmon fishing and shit like that, I usually check to see where they're releasing them or when the run's going to be, and usually try to aim it around that time for when I'm going to be there.
I mean, if people were smart, they would just all come at the same time and do it.
They do. A lot of people do what I do.
So, like, literally, you see, like, a sailing, they put it down, people just looking.
Like 3 feet apart type shit. Like,
wow.
That's how bad. Like, you'll see it for, like, a mile. Just people that are like 3-4 feet apart.
What do the people do when they release the fish? They just look at everybody like, wow.
Well, it depends. Because, like, I know they've gotten a lot smarter about it recently to where they put them in at a certain time of the year where you can't legally, I mean, you can fish, but you can't keep the fish. Which, me, personally, I don't keep the fucking fish from the stock trucks because they taste like fucking fish feed. So, me, I prefer wild trout.
Yeah.
So I always try to make sure that I'm getting ones that are untagged.
I can't.
They usually have little markers on them and indications that they're actual fishery or fish hatchery trout. And just like a lot of times, I've had game wardens and stuff like that come up and they'll check the fish to see, and that way they can tell which hatchery it came from and how far it went and shit like that. Not just to bug you; they actually do it to check how well their hatchery stuff is working and how far they can make it and shit like that.
Like, oh wow, this only go 2 miles. Wow, this thing go far.
Yeah, pretty much stuff like that. But no, I don't know. Like I said, I've been fined for breaking school lockers. I had to replace an entire row.
I mean, that's why I said Captains for the Bullies Association.
Windows in the school.
Like I said, you just went to a lucky school where they didn't care about like what happened. You came to school down in Georgia, they would kick your ass out. They don't care how much money your parents would have had.
You say that now.
No, I know.
Literally, you gotta remember though, my family is also well off, so you know a lot of the shit in the town is owned by my family, or was at one point owned by my family. Land was donated by my family. Museums are owned by my family. You know, that type of shit. So, you know, they look at me as, you know, the God, Saint, and Savior, and they don't want to, you know, piss off my family because they know they'll lose millions of dollars of worth of donations in the yearly, or my family will take back their land.
Can they do that now?
Yeah, because most of it's usually leased.
How much of the land is yours?
Mine, nothing. I mean, I'll find out whenever my grandmother dies. She'd be the last one that would be holding. They're my great aunt. She is also still alive, and she would be like the remaining ones that still have it. Because like my mother and that type of stuff doesn't actually have anything as of yet, and like we honestly have no idea how much is left on their part, because like they refuse to talk about it and they live like they're poor.
What, they own a whole state pretty much?
Yeah, no, it's like, dude. So I had this one aunt who was like my guardian angel throughout my life, and like she always made sure that I had everything I ever needed. And like she had told me, and she was like, "Oh, I own all these buildings in this town." Like, and she just explained which ones were hers, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then like whenever she died, I asked my grandmother, I'm like, "Well, where the fuck did they go?" And she was like, "Your aunt didn't own any of that stuff." And I'm like, she looked me in the face and said that she owned all these huge industrial buildings downtown. I was like, so who the fuck has them? And she's like, Max, nobody. She's like, she never owned those. And I was like, why would she lie to me? Like, that makes no sense. And then, like, I mean, I know she wasn't lying, because, dude, she used to give me, like, $1,000 every fucking holiday. It's like it was fucking nothing. And, like, she gave my grandmother money to put aside for me for pretty much my entire life.
So, what happened to the buildings?
But I don't know. My grandmother wouldn't tell me. So, like, I have no idea. And because that's what I was wondering, is, like, my aunt didn't have any kids. So, like, and I was pretty much, like, her favorite. So, like, it almost makes me wonder if, like, either she, A, left them to her sister, or she left them to me and I just don't know it.
Well, we find out. Hopefully no time soon. Because I don't wish death on anybody. But whenever your grandma passes, you find out. Or if you have like a little account that just have like $10 million in it right now.
That'd be fucking great. That'd be really nice.
Can I borrow 3?
No. I'll give you a couple $100 though.
Yeah. See? Look at the man. I'm gonna make sure your ass get taxed. I'm gonna call everybody. I'm gonna call every bureau that I can. FBI, CIA. This man did this.
Yeah, but nah, I don't know. Like I said, I just don't get to where all of it went. But like, dude, you would never know that my grandmother has money. You really wouldn't. Like, dude, I mean, she lives in a house that's, I mean, I want to say last time I checked, it's worth like $190,000.
I mean, she could be like, if she ever passed, the stock market could crash, something like that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I doubt that would even matter to begin with. But, well, I mean, that's the thing, is it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, one day you figure it out, maybe in like 20 years.
Yeah.
You find out everything.
Hopefully. I don't know, dude, my grandmother hasn't worked since she was in her 20s?
Must be nice.
Like, whenever I say haven't worked, I mean, like, has not worked. Like, at all. Not even a part-time job. Nothing.
Must be nice. I've been working since I was 20.
Shit, that's what I said. I'm like, damn, I've been working since I was fucking like 8 years old.
Well, I was going to say my real age, but they want to put it out there. I've been working since like 10. Little cut the grass. Do lawnmower bullshit. Rake. The worst job ever is raking. Like, I don't see how people do that shit.
I don't know. We always had leaf blowers. I mean, you do used to have to like rake around the trees and shit, but that'd be about it.
Nah, like I had to rake one day with my friend. Holy shit, that was like hell.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Like I said, we used to rake out the gardens and shit like that, but I mean, that really wasn't my job. I mean, I grew up, I had to like wash dogs and shit like that, and then I had to go work on a farm. So I'd always be doing that type of stuff until I was older, and then I'd worked at a movie theater at one point, a grocery store at one point. Never did fast food, never did waitressing, never did dishwashing. That's below my standards. That's where I fucking draw my line. If anybody ever wants to know on what I will and will not do, you will never see me flipping no motherfucking burgers. and you will never see me waiting on anybody because I don't have the patience